and it's Saturday night for another episode of the All Four Back Podcast, episode 82. And we've got another jam-packed show for you tonight. As you can already tell, and in a change to normal, there's no Chester 430 who's taken a little break, and that instead of being behind and that on the show workings, I'm in front and centre for a change. As always, joined by Anna by Hadlington. Good evening.
Good evening, Tank. Good evening, all.
And also joined by Shaz. Good evening.
Hello there, DJ Bubbles. Good evening, everyone.
Oh dear.
Oh, sorry.
So on to tonight's show. We have the BGP Round 2 and that review with the leaderboard, and also the SCS Round 2 and leaderboard, along with the Knockout Cup reviews of Dragons vs Spartans and Storm vs Wolves, where we will be joined by Bewitcher. We'll have Shad's Rider of the Week, then we'll have On This Day with Shad's as well, and then we shall finish off the evening with a preview of the Reserve Riders Championship. So, as Chester would say, switching gears now, we go into the BGP, and we had a win from Cam, who pretty convincingly won, and surprisingly Stephen didn't make the final. So Hads, I'll bring you in here, and what was your thoughts on the meeting?
Yeah, I think it was obviously, as you just mentioned, not to see Stephen in the final. We haven't seen that for quite some time. But it was good. Obviously, say a different winner in Cam. Won his last 3 races of the evening. Big credit to him. He really wants to push on this season, but also good to see Ads MFT up there in second, who doesn't ride in these meetings that often anymore, obviously, with his working and on the weekends, but Mareki as well making the final again. It could be a big challenge to Stefan this season.
Yeah, it definitely was a bit of a level this track, because you had a bit of a few surprises on site with Ads. That was nice, and it was the day before his birthday as well, so to make a final at least was a bit of a present for him on his birthday. Shaz, what was your thoughts on the meeting?
Well, I was watching, sort of keeping an eye on the spreadsheet between my heats and the SCS, and Speedy when his first 4 race, I thought, aye, and then he fell off a cliff towards the end. Last 2 races, didn't score, so I think it was a missed opportunity for him there. But no, it's surprising to see Stefan not make a final, but all credit to Cam and for me, Mareki, who top scored on the night with his 18 points, making the table look really, really interesting now. You got you got 4 riders within 7 points of each other. So Stefan's not having it all his own way this season. I know there's another 5 rounds to go, but the GP could do with a tight top 3 or 4 just to make it interesting going down. And I can't see many of the top 4 missing any meetings. So pressure's on Stefan now to hold on to this title, which is one for the last 7 seasons now.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, it's good. It's good for the game.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the closest it's been for a while, and I did notice going into the final, once obviously Stefan didn't make it, we potentially could have had a new leader, which we haven't, which we'll look at the table in a minute. But yeah, I think this could be a close one, because obviously Mareki's given it his best shot, and Cam is as well. So I think there is a few contenders in there that will make it difficult. And Stefan, based on the first 2 rounds, yes, he's leading, but I don't think he's had it all his own way, personally. I think he's had to work his way from the back more than he's ever had to do in the last few seasons. And I think he would be the first to admit that he's obviously not been at his best, and he's made it hard work for himself.
Yeah, Marecki missed out there because, I mean, third place in the final. If he'd have won that final, he'd have been top of the table. Am I right in thinking he had first gate choice as well?
He did, yes.
Probably, yeah. So he's obviously missing the gate there on a track that's really hard to pass on, because these top guys don't make many mistakes.
Hmm.
And it was one of those tracks where you had to nail the line. It was a really thin line there. But yeah, it's great for the game. Really interesting.
I think the standout ones, thinking about it when I was watching the races, obviously the standout ones was, apart from Stefan and Marecki, the others was Speedy, Ads, and 101 actually looked pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah. Had that last place, didn't he, in his fourth ride.
Yeah.
Didn't help him.
No, but I think it was a bit of a level, and others you didn't expect would score did actually score quite well. So I think that's helped with the closeness of the table. Looking at the table after round 2, obviously Stefan still leads, but by a slender 1 point on 32 points. Marecki and obviously is a point behind on 31, and then Cam not far behind on 28. Speedy's on 25. Craig on 22. Brett Lockers on 20. Cappy's on 19, and Stephen 101 is on 14, and that ran out the top 8. So it's pretty tight. Obviously, just at this early stage, just after 2. Can you see any of the ones outside the top 8, obviously making the top 8 hats, or?
On form, I think Squall's in pretty good form, and he's good to race every round. So I think if the ones above him maybe miss a round, like I know Craig's missed rounds before and 101. So if they miss rounds, I think Squall's got a decent chance. But I don't think you can rule out really Badger or Fakey, to be honest, because they're the same. They're near enough there every round, and they always seem to score. If they don't get the semi-finals, they score 7, 6, 7 every round. So I think it's going to be close, but it's going to be definitely I think wide open for the top 8 and for the top 3. I think this season, as Shad's mentioned, I think it's only going to be good for the game and to more people to push on. Obviously, TJ and Ryan didn't race in this round as well, so with them coming back in, could make things a lot more interesting.
Yeah, that's a
good. I think TJ and Ryan are going to miss another round each as well. I think they said. So I think it's going to be difficult for them if the top 8 don't miss many meetings. But I tend to agree with you, Hads, about Squall. I think there's a lot more to come from him because he's riding really well this year for the Dragons. So there's no reason why he can't put a double point scores in some of these rounds and break into that top 8. I think he's well capable of doing that.
So we shall see what round 3 brings, because that's on the 2 weeks away, I think.
Yeah, north side, is it?
Yes, I believe so.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one.
I'll get my first laps on there. I've yet to have any laps. So, and switching gears now to Size Championship, and the winner for round 2 in the Size Championship was Bewitcher, our guest tonight, which we'll have on in a bit. And it was a very good night for him. Obviously, it was nice to see that Rico keeping up in his good, his form that he's been having lately. And obviously, you had a very good night as well, Shaz, and that making the semi-final, but obviously you failed to make the final.
Yes, that was sort of fell off a cliff in the semi-final. I was leading comfortably and inexplicably turned into the grass on Benfield on the third lap. I switched the computer off immediately in frustration after that. So a good opportunity missed. I had trouble with the line all night, to be honest. I said last week I'd be satisfied with 10 points. and that felt like a real opportunity lost. Very disappointed, but I think Bewitcher was class on the night. Maybe not so much of a great first ride, but after that he was pretty much untouchable. So I think he deserved to win it. Good to see Rico, like you said, good to see Rico back in the points. He's had a sort of up and down season. He's had some really poor meetings and some really good meetings. So this is one of his better ones, 16 points. So he's back in the hunt. Very strange scores. Capesy having a bad night again, and Ben's not having a great season, so no surprise with his score. But Skyrider as well. Skyrider had a good meeting. He was very quick. Race I was in with him. Looked very good. But there's another one that's all to play for, especially with JC missing the round. That's another one that's going to go down to the wire, I think.
Yeah, and I do think JC obviously got to be missing this round, and that is definitely going to make up for it in the remaining rounds. He's already expressed that he wants to kick on.
Yeah.
And for you, Hudson, that you made the semi-final and came last as well.
Yeah.
But it was a relatively good night for you.
Yeah, it was like, I think Shad's said he was frustrated. I think it's pretty much the same. Obviously got the couple of race wins, but that for the first 0 in my last program ride, I was last for three laps, and they all seemed to go wide on the one bend, and I was like, oh, I was going to the last lap and I was in front, and then I did exactly the same and just totally missed the line, and they all come back past me, and I was like, oh dear. And then semi-final, I've done the same as what Shad's did, and I caught the edge of the grass on bend 2 in the second lap, and yeah, there was no catching them from there. But I think 9 is pretty much around about what I expected. To be honest, I didn't expect too much because the line was that thin, and that it was difficult. If you was moved slightly wide, I found myself in the middle of the track in that one when I missed the bend, and using no man's land, and it's so hard to recover. But I do want to mention that one there in heat 6 with you, Shads. Fastest time of the night. You gated like an absolute trooper.
That's weird, wasn't it? I was the only rider under 37 seconds all night.
That was an amazing gate, to be fair, from the outside as well.
I could do with a few more of those. Well, I made the decision early just to dive inside rather than try and go around the outside. And if you don't make the gate from gate 4, you can't do that. But it's sort of like
that is.
It was my. I was going to do it whatever. So I thought we'll go for it. I was going to just mention, but someone we haven't mentioned, the Saucier.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He wasn't. I mean, he only had one heat win all night, but he piled up, 13 points, and I mean, he's only 7 points off the top now, and only 1 point out of the top 3. So, and he scored well in his first round as well. So he's pretty consistent. I mean, you can't really rule him out either.
Yeah, I've been impressed riding alongside him so far this season. I mean, he always seems to be there or thereabouts in the mix. He doesn't seem to make too many mistakes either, and always seems to find himself in those right positions to get the points and capitalise on people.
It's
but I think
be a good season for him.
I think Birchie and David Nofi are missing out on 8 points. I think they can find themselves a bit unlucky. I think it was a 4 or 5 riders on 9 points when it was like before the semi-finals. It was something.
It was really close. It was down to the last heat, wasn't it? Everyone had to.
Yeah.
There was a lot riding on the last heats, on the last 4 races.
Yeah, definitely. But again, I was impressed as well with Reese. I mean, how he's come back into the game and just doing what he's doing in this series. I mean, 12 points again. Just superb. I mean, 2 semi-finals so far this season. That's really good stuff.
If you think where he was when he rode earlier a few seasons ago, he was like, scoring pretty much 0 in meetings, but he's come back and he's obviously putting a lot more into the game. He said himself when we interviewed him a couple of weeks ago that he's actually practicing a lot more now, and he's always asking for furthers and that. So That's always a good sign when he's got his motivation going, and it's paying dividends.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is nice to see and that Reese doing so well. I remember when he was riding before, and to see the change, and it just shows what you get when you put the actually laps in and the hours in. So looking at the championship standings for the SCS, Bewitcher obviously has a lead, a cylinder one, but a little one, 32 points. Chad's your second on 26 points. Reese is also on 26, and then the Source is on 25, just outside, along with Skyrider on 23, Rico on 21, Hadjor on 16, along with David No Fear, and Westy Boy JC on 15, and Hobnob rounds out the top 11, and that on 11 points. Yeah, it's definitely. I think both series are tied, but I think this one is probably tighter for all the places really, from the top three to the eight. Can you see many outside it getting in, Chad?
What, into the top 8 or
Yeah,
into the
in
top 3?
top eight, I'd say. Because I think,
Top,
I mean, they could probably get to
well,
the top three.
I don't know. I'm looking more. I think Le Sorcier and Skyrider definitely good shouts to get into the top 3. If one of us, either me or myself or Reese, have a poor meeting, which I'm well capable of doing, especially with looking at some of the tracks that are coming up. I think JC. I don't know if he's going to have enough to get into that top 3. The way Bewitcher's going, and Reese is pretty. He seems to be, pretty dialed into the tracks, and he practices a hell of a lot. Ads, I think you need to score some double figure scores to get close to that top 8. But I think the top 8, I think, are pretty safe for qualification for next season. I think the likes of Heppel and Capes, you're going to have to butt their idea. I mean, Capesy 5 and 4 points isn't great. They obviously got to put a bit more into it if they want to get into that automatic qualification for next season's SCS. But no, it's definitely looking great for the top 5, I'd say.
Your thoughts, Hads?
Yeah, I think I can't really disagree. I think we have to remember as well, Bewitcher's not actually a full-time rider, is he? So, and he's a lead in the standings. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, if nobody drops out the next round and all the others get in, obviously, it's not very often we get a full quota. There's always somebody missing somewhere in these competitions, which is a shame, obviously. But I think, as you said, consistency and people turning up every round. I mean, I'm pretty good for Sundays myself. I mean, I know it helped the likes of Ben and Hobnob and that qualify last season as well. Just by being there and scoring a few points every round, it was good. But obviously, people want to kick on a bit more, and so you look at Rico, 5 points and then 16. If he can find somewhere in between that every round, I don't think he's going to be far off the top 3. To be honest,
We shall see how that goes leading into round 3, which is Northside. I, I'm gonna make a bold prediction for round 3. That's probably going to be the round of the series for either. I think that's going to be an interesting one. We might see a few upsets, a few surprises, and maybe look back on it and say that was when a championship was decided or places were, potentially.
or Alan's going to score a point
Well, he might.
if he does some laps.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We move now on to the Knockout Cup and that reviews and that they've just gone by, and the first one up was the Hastings Dragons against the Peterborough Spartans, where the Dragons won 61 points to 35. And obviously I refereed this one. I mean, in terms of racing, it was it was better than the scoreline suggests, and it was just the Dragons' home advantage obviously came through for this one, I feel. But no denying that obviously the likes of 101 and Score were having good nights, but Cam also was bringing his, GP form in the league form from the past few seasons. Is still running quite well. It didn't really seem to obviously stick and get any momentum for Spartans. Stefan obviously doing what he does best, although even he struggled. He was coming from the back a few times, which you don't see in league meetings really, apart from his first ride, and then Heat 11 getting the track record. Otherwise, he had to work for it. And it was nice to see Potter 2310 obviously guesting in place of DL Shaw, who wasn't. Shads, what was your thoughts on the meeting?
Well, what a turn up! I don't think anyone expected this scoreline. Spartans have been blowing everyone out of the water lately, but this was probably their toughest test so far, and they failed miserably. Dragons are superb, and as we all expected, Hastings would be a fortress for them this season. Just 4 last places for the home side, and no less than 7 5-1s. Good to see Stephen back in the side with a good score. Only Wolfie really missed out. Otherwise, it could have been even worse for the Spartans. I mean, the Spartans really struggled. Only Stefan really put up any resistance. It's good to see Potter back with a respectable score considering how long he's been away. Like you said earlier, no DL Shaw this week, but I'm not sure he'd have scored many more than Potter did. And if you remember, I mentioned last week the Dragons' lower end. I mean, they are the best in the league by a distance. Reese, the Saucier, the Badger outscoring the Spartans, 2 and 6 riders. You had by 18 points to 3. I mean, the whole side seems to be very dialed into the home track. I mean, it's given me season 16 extra Crusaders vibes, really. Teams are terrified of this track. And as good as the Spartans have been at home, they'll have to ride out of their skins to turn around a 26-point deficit in the second leg. I think the Dragons can hold out.
Yes, it's going to be a tricky second leg. I think, if nothing else, I think it'll be a closer meeting and end more respectively second leg wise. But then we've seen stranger things. I think on home shell, as obviously DL Shaw probably should be riding for that one, you'd imagine, because you don't miss many. It could be a turn up really. Has and what was? I guess it wasn't a good night for the team, but I know you said you had a bit of frustration about the evening as well.
Yeah, it was tough. Obviously, we knew it was going to be tough coming in. We tried to get as many laps in as we could, which wasn't that many as a collective really, because obviously the turnaround with the GP and SCS and trying to get everyone on together. But honestly, practice wasn't bad at all. It would just come to the meeting and they were that dialed in. I have to give credit to Dragons. I mean, each one of my races, I mean, I didn't think I rode that bad, and to come away with 3+1. I mean, I was always in the mix trying to pass the guys, and I had a good battle with Wolfie in Heat 11 when Stefan got that track record. But it was tough. You really need to obviously do your homework when you're riding here. So good luck in a couple of weeks, Shads. But it's obviously, you say it was good to see. It's good to see Potter back. When we knew DL wasn't going to be available, I'd suggested Potter because he nearly signed up for the season, and with him, obviously, his type of track being Exeter, we know how well he did there in the past. So we thought he'd be an ideal guest, and yeah, he didn't disgrace himself at all with 7 points and a race win. on his comeback. So yeah, fair play to him for that. It was just, I think it was a bit of both. I think the pings, I think there was a few pings and a bit of, you know, it could have been a bit closer, obviously, but the racing on the whole, I think was pretty good. And you've really got to put the laps into to get the points and get anything from here. So I think the second leg, they've already got the advantage of racing at our track as well, so which is going to make it even tougher. But yeah, obviously it was half night apart from Stephen, as and you mentioned in the one race. I think it was second race the first race I rode with him in Heat 4. He actually clipped the fence. I think it was on the first or second lap. And if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for me clipping the fence on the last lap, he'd have ended up last, which he won't like me saying. But I mean, when you got somebody like Stefan as good as he is doing that, you know how difficult this track is. So yeah, hats off to the Dragons. Well done, and hopefully we can give you a better match in the second leg.
I think, obviously, experiencing it in the Knockout Cup, you will know where you went wrong and where to improve, and you'll have that knowledge going into the league match now as well. Which, obviously, when we faced Dragons in the league, we had nothing to go on. So for the Panthers, so I think when you face them at Hastings again, it'll be a better match. It'll be more closer as well.
I've already got my sick note in for the league match, so I'm all right for that one.
Oh, you got a Tintin sick note.
we was gonna ask you to guess for us because we got a few sick notes gone in already.
Oh dear.
Contrary to my score that I scored when I was there, and that I actually don't mind Hastings whatsoever. I can ride it, no problems. I just, the story of my season, I've just not really trained that much for one reason or another. So my score was low as well. But I think Hastings is fine. I think most people they're defeated before they get to the meeting because they see they see the track size, the shape, and see it's 4 straights, not your conventional what you're so used to with the 2 straights and the 4 bends or 2 bends, however way you look at it. And everyone's like, oh, I can't do it, but you know what I mean. It's not too bad once you get to grips with it. You do have to kind of retrain your brain and also focus and make sure you get it right, which can be difficult when you're so used to the normal track shapes.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
So yeah. So moving on to our second review, but before we do, obviously we've got some breaking news coming from the Wolverhampton Wolves camp. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, Sizzler announced that himself and Owen was stepping down, and he informed the committee. And obviously, Bewitcher took over the reins as vice captain at the time, and it was down to Bewitcher to source the replacements. It's taken a few weeks, but I can announce that Wolverhampton Wolves have replaced Sizzler with the Scorchers ex-captain of Limo, is replacing Sizzler, while Owen's replacement is a returning unknown from season 17 when he actually came in as a replacement to help out the Wolverhampton Brewers, no less, when Ben Thompson was the captain. So what was your thoughts on that, Ads?
Yeah, I think it's good. Obviously, it's good to see both these guys coming back into the game. Obviously, Limo was part of the GP on the weekend, and he said he can be involved a bit more. So I kind of expected one of them to be Limo, but unknown. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that one, to be honest. But it'll be good for Wolves. Obviously, we'll obviously do the review shortly because I had a guest appearance with them last week, and yeah, fair play to them. They're not downhearted. They've kept the chins up, and this is definitely what they'll need for the second half of the season.
Yeah, and Shaz, your thoughts?
Limo's been hanging around lately. I think he rode in the GP, and he has been sort of like hanging around in Discord. So I'm not surprised that that Bewitcher went for him, but Unknown was a bit left field for me. I didn't guess that at all. I suppose with the Speedway season being over and Unknown does like commentary and that, I suppose I think he guested for us a couple of seasons back, 2 or 3 seasons ago at the end of the season when he was more available. So he had 2 very, very, very good signings. It definitely makes them stronger, and just in time for us to return there for the second leg of the KO Cup semi-final, which is a bit unfortunate for us.
Oh, well, I think that'll be quite an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we'll get their thoughts of Bewitcher in a couple of minutes. And on to our second Knockout Cup review, we had the Kings Lynn Storm up against the Wolverhampton Wolves, which was a win for the Storm, 59 points to 37. And it was a very solid performance from the Storm, who obviously had DJ scoring 14 and Lofty getting 13 plus 3. Wolves obviously not having their new riders in at this point, obviously operating rider replacement for Sizzler, and obviously Hads was guesting. I think it's actually set up quite nicely for the second leg. What was your thoughts, Hads, on the meeting? Obviously you guested.
Yeah, it was a tough one, to be honest. I asked to guest a couple of days beforehand, which I was available, and obviously I had quite a good score a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, unfortunately I couldn't get anywhere near that. Storm were definitely dialed in to their track. I mean, but the first 2 races against Race and Ryan, the team riding, I mean, both races, Lofty was nowhere, Westy Wood was nowhere, and then he just blocking and slowing down the race, and yeah, it happens, and he's good at it, and he sacrifices himself for the team a lot of the time as well, and it was tough, and it's frustrating, to be honest, but fair play to him if he can do stuff like that and get points for his team as well. It's really good, and you don't really see a lot. So I think when people do it, I think we have to hold our hands up and say, yeah, you know what, fair play to you. But it was a tough meeting, obviously. But I was impressed. I was actually impressed with the Wolves when I was practicing as well. Super Dippers and BW look really, really quick. And obviously, you can see there, Hutty got a paid win and a paid win. So, and Hobnob got a race win as well. So, yeah, I think it sets up nicely for the second leg with the changes coming in. So, everything to play for, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And then I think the scoreline could have actually been closer because, as you say, Hutty rode quite well, got a few points on the board. I actually thought he was going to get more than he actually ended up with in the end. Judge, you had a fairly decent meeting as well. What did you think on the meeting overall?
Oh, I'm not sure how much some of our team were affected by the nonsense that was going on in chat towards the end of the meeting. I think Ryan was, to be honest. I remember what you said about Ryan's team ride, and he does that in practice. He's blocking the hell out of me nearly every race. I mean, it should be enough to get us through to the final, you think, but with these new signings, we're going to have to be on top form to get through. I mean, thank the Lord that Lofty and TJ were on it Wednesday. Otherwise, I don't know where we'd be now. I must single out Lofty for praise after the couple of weeks he's had off the game. Superb performance from him, and hopefully this will kickstart his season and help him get through what he's going through. I wasn't quite on it on the night. I'm not sure if the SCS meeting affected me, or if it was just general fatigue after a few tough days at work, not making excuses. But I'm at my age, you know. But I know that I can do better, and I think it's going to be a very, very tough second leg.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one. I expected it, even early doors, and that it was the first race, and I could tell that the meet was going to be, the rest of it was going to be really good. I I think it could end up being a last race decider in the second leg potentially. Obviously, we'll bring in our guests for this evening in Bewitcher. Good evening.
Good evening. Just a quick comment about this particular meeting.
Mhm.
About 35 years ago, Cradley had a match at Bellevue, I believe, and Samuel Malenko guested and only scored 4 points. And Hads has waited 35 years for his opportunity to get revenge from that night. And did it last night by contributing an equal 4 points when riding for Wolves. 35 years he's held that grudge, and now he feels a lot happier. All right, Hads.
I can't remember. I would have been 7 years old, I think.
You remember it well.
Yeah.
So
No, as regards to that meeting,
Hmm.
that team we had on paper, it's got to be one of the lowest averaging teams ever put out, I think, in a sliders match. When you look at it, especially when you consider Dip was averaging, I think, 3.91 on the season so far. But what's impressed me since Sis and Owen left is there's been no issues in the team. Everyone's their attitude has been spot on. Especially the bottom end, Baz and Hutty, who've just knuckled down and been even more determined than ever. So that's made it much easier to sort of battle on. The results didn't really matter. We were just having fun and doing our best.
I think the
I
think the byproduct of actually having fun, result goes into meetings and gives you the points and heat advantages and builds the confidence to be better.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, in that meeting, we were just trying to get as many as we could. Just try and keep it as close as we could to give us, a bit of a chance in the second leg. And we should have scored more. I threw some points away stupidly. I lost my head with Tanks' ridiculous decision in Heat 9. Ridiculous. No contact. I've seen the replay. Definitely no contact there whatsoever.
VAR.
Wasn't wearing my glasses, but,
I had my nose on the screen. I saw it.
Wasn't wearing glasses and I had it on mute, so there's definitely no contact.
Oh dear.
But no, it's one of them that kind of turned it a bit, because that was one where I made a perfect gate, would have been away. And around that track, if you get a bit of a lead, you're not going to get caught. And then obviously the rerun, missed the gate completely, and I was like, and that carried on to the next. I think I was comfortable second, and I don't know what I was doing in the last bend, and Heppel came through, and then the old sun rotten books out the window moment. But what was kicking off in chat anyway? Because I only briefly looked. I rarely look in chat during the meetings.
It was
no comment.
I can't really remember, and I was the referee.
I saw Adlington posted something about TJ in capitals or something, but that was it.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
Heppel using capitals and getting on everyone's nerves. And we're telling him in Storm Chat to stop doing it, and he wouldn't stop doing it. So he was in one of them funny moods. It was annoying. It was annoying me and Westy and Ryan, and we told him to stop, and he wouldn't stop. So I think Ryan got a bit affected by it. He got really peed off with it. And
sometimes I tell our guys, don't even look at the chat if things aren't quite going right. Just don't look at the chat. Just focus on your team chat. And
it's just annoying.
You can't get wound up then.
Yeah.
We'll wind each other enough as it is without anyone else getting involved.
That is true.
I think it's sport a little bit, but I don't think it made any difference to the score or the result in the end. I don't think it made a lot of difference.
Yeah.
I don't think it affected the the Wolves team much, and I think many people commented on it. It's mostly our blokes saying stop it.
Annoying yourselves.
It was annoying. We was getting more annoyed than you were, I think, to be honest.
Oh, that's all right. So there shouldn't be no animosity or anything. It was.
There was. I didn't notice any. It was just people getting annoyed for, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason, but it is a little bit annoying when tell someone to stop doing it and they don't stop doing it. I thought,
Yeah.
it's not what
It's his thing, though, and it makes him happy. Then just.
it is. He's always done it. It's just like sometimes I just get a bit annoyed. I wasn't in the best of moods anyway. I wasn't expecting to ride, to be honest. I
Yeah.
think Method was supposed to ride, but he couldn't ride for some reason. So I was going to give it a miss to let him have a meeting because he's only had one meeting this season. So I volunteered to step down and ended up having to ride. So I wasn't in the best of moods, to be honest. But hey ho.
Did something upset you previous, Shads?
Just a lot going on at home. There's stuff going on at home, and
no previous meeting. I'm talking about anything.
Sunday. Yeah, I was still a bit. I was still a bit miffed about that. I thought,
where you just suddenly disappear and you just like completely AWOL.
The season started off so well, and then it's sort of like tailed off a little bit. So yeah, I was a bit.
But you got 10. It's all you expected at the start. So
yeah, I know, but I could have scored more. But yeah, the old Shad's Gate in it's like, and like you said, Kingston is not an easy track to pass on. You rely on other people making mistakes, and your guys, especially. I mean, when I was behind Hobnob and Hutchie in Heat 2, they were real perfect for 4 laps, and there's no way getting near them. Credit to them too, like you said earlier. Credit to them too. They put a really good show.
That's not a phrase often used.
Considering how they've been racing this season, I think they did pretty well, to be honest with you.
Yeah. As I said, both of their attitudes have been spot on. Hutty's been right. I mean, last season, Hutty sort of lost interest after a couple of meetings. As you know, we were in the same team, weren't we, Shads?
Well, yeah, well, we know why, don't we?
Yeah. Things went wrong and he lost interest in one scene. But this year, he's been every night. Are we practicing? He's the most keen of the lot. It's really good.
Yeah, I was going to mention that actually, because when obviously I've done some practice with you guys, and the team spirit you had in the practice server was like, it was really, really good. And how did you like when you took over as captain? Did you change anything, or how did you maintain that kind of spirit in the team?
The team spirit was never that bad. I mean, Stiz had some issues going into the season. He's had like a bit of a running thing, as you know, with the committee. No committee members here are the tank, as we all know. And I think he's had some other stuff outside of the game as well, which we all get. So, but it was mainly frustration from his point of view. And I think Owen just sort of follows Sis, doesn't he? So if Sis goes, then Owen sort of goes.
Yeah.
But he's what, 16, 17 now. He's got a girlfriend, and at that age, other things start to creep in, I suppose, other interests. But yeah, when he went, JC stepped up. Myself, Baz and Hutty are decent guys. Dip was the only one that was a little bit concerned, but that was more due to the fact he'd been off form himself. So he was beating himself up about, his own point scoring. But, that was always going to come around. We saw last night, that was his best meeting of the season, so he's much happier now and ready to go. And I think as well, once we get the top 2 back in, it takes the pressure off riders like Dip, myself, and JC. So at the minute, we're sort of going out thinking we've got to win every race that we're in just to keep us anywhere close. Whereas in reality, scoring 9-10 points in the meeting is a good score for the position we're in. But when we're the top riders, obviously it's not good enough. But that job can go over to the 2 new boys now. And
yeah, definitely. I was impressed with Dip in the meeting and in practice, to be honest. Obviously, I rode with him in the 3 heats in this one. We won't mention the ping into the grass in Heat 12 Overshads. So
that was mega. That, I mean, either one of us could have gone in. You happened to be on the inside, so it was your turn.
unfortunately. Yeah.
It definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't a deliberate move. I haven't got that sort of
Um,
skill, I'm afraid.
No,
but
just one of
I
them.
wish I wish I could.
The second leg should be interesting because we raced in the league a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Did you win by 2?
That was at your place, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2
You won
points,
by
yeah.
2, but again, we hadn't got. Well, we had Cam riding that night, didn't we?
Yeah, that's
And
right. We
Ride
had
replaced
school.
him,
I
so
think
we've
we
got
had
to ride
school
now.
guest. We had school guesting for Lofty, I think. Or for
Yes.
Wesley, sorry, for Wesley. Yeah.
Yeah, who probably scored. He scored quite well, didn't he?
I think he scored 10, I think. I think he's our second highest
Yeah.
scorer
So
of the
West has got to
PJ.
go some to match that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, just a bit of backstory on last night as well. It was frustrating because we had Cam booked again originally, so we chose that
Right.
night to suit Cam, and then he
Right.
had his work rota was changed, so had to pull out last minute. And then we tried 3 or 4 different guests who all wanted to race but couldn't do that night, but they could have done the other night that we were offered. So we worked our way down. I think we tried about 302 riders and then ended up with Adlington. You know, it was like, yeah.
Well, we think about how he scored when he came there with the Spartans. That's a good choice.
No, we did. I mean, I looked at his scores, to be honest. There was him and Birchie. There was pretty much the only 2 who were sort of available. And they both did reasonably well, or very well, actually, in the last meeting there. Hads was online at the time, Birchie wasn't, so I went with Hads.
I think Hads at 2 would have probably scored you more points because I mean we raced at 2 with me and I think I was at 6 and I think you beat me 3 times out of 4, Hads, didn't you?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
the problem because
momentum.
he's coming in as a guest. He's replacing Sizzler. He assumes his
Yeah.
average, doesn't he? So
There's a big difference from because I mean at number 2, number 6, you don't race against the number 1 and you get the easier races as well on paper.
But his times in that meeting were more than quick enough, and he was quick enough in practicing in that meeting as well. But it's one of those tracks, isn't it? You get the wrong little nudge at the wrong time or slight in the wrong place, and it's hard to.
It's not a great home advantage track. It's not Hastings, you know.
No.
Perhaps if you can get
drop a bit behind, it's hard to make up unless you've got someone like Ryan Block to slow people down. It's hard to.
Yeah,
to
it's
make
very
it too much
difficult.
ground.
Very difficult. I can back that up.
Yeah.
When you got
Definitely.
Putty and Hobnob, you know, dating and you can't get near them. You know, I know they're not idiots, but it I wasn't even close. I wasn't even close to getting near them.
Yeah,
it's just like you just get
the
on
only
that
thing
line.
I've tried telling Hutty and Hobnob is to just you see them in practice and they can put in fast races, but where they tend to go wrong is in a meeting they start riding the rider and not the line, or paying attention to what the other riders are doing. So I've been trying to get to them. Just stick to the line that you know you can ride. You know, make the others do something. If somebody else starts doing something different, don't react. Just ride your line. Because the chances are
you could be talking about me.
Yeah. Because sometimes they follow them and fly offline and lose it, especially on the last lap where they panic a bit.
Well, that happened on Sunday in that semi-final. I told you when Rico was getting a bit close to me, so I thought I'd just dive inside and try and block him, thinking he was going to dive inside, and I just dived inside too early. So I mean,
yeah, that's where the mistake comes. Yeah,
we've all past me. Yeah, so mate, we've got just can't help it.
Yeah, we've all done it.
I've got a twitchy hand, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So you've introduced the 2 cretins we've signed at the top end, I assume.
Yeah, we went through that. But how difficult was it getting 2 riders in?
Well, the crazy thing about it with Limo, that probably took longer than it should have done. So I'd sent some PMs to Limo on private message on PM, but apparently it's to the wrong account. So I'm thinking like he's just ignoring it. He's got no interest whatsoever. And JC was messaging, well, he's replied saying, he's quite interested, but he's moving house and all this. And I'm like, well, he's just completely blanking me. And then we finally found out I was messaging the wrong account. So I messaged on the right account and he just agreed straight away. So it was like extremely simple.
Yeah.
Unk, I think Shad's touched upon it a bit earlier. He's just coming to the end of his commitments, work commitments. He's away on holiday next week, but we haven't got a meeting. And then after that, he should be good to go. So he's got to re-download the game and get back in the servers, but I don't think it'll take him more than 10 minutes to be back up to speed. He's that kind of rider, isn't he? He's naturally good at it. So, but yeah, Limo was in practice tonight and last night, and he's picked up the track quite good already. He's broke the track record. I think he's doing about 37.4, which is a second faster than Cam can go, who says he's the quickest. So, yeah. Don't want to scare you, Shads, but,
But you are.
Yeah, relate that back to your team. 37.4.
That's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem.
Just making up times here.
If we get knocked out now, it'd be our own fault.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you just got to keep your heads, haven't you, and just pick up points.
I mean, look, with Sizzler and Owen, it would have been the first leg wouldn't have been 59-37.
No, exactly.
You're only replacing riders that that left the game. It's not as if you picked them out, and put in two better riders. I think Owen and Sizzler on their day when they're fully focused on it, they're equally as good as
ride replacement 5.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
From the heat rides, and that the Cradley man scored 4 from his. So celebrating, riding back to the pits, punching the air after a last place. 2 tube walls, tosses were his words. But yeah, seriously, like 5 and 4 points. So you'd expect. I mean, Sis would have got double figures. You'd expect, wouldn't he? From 6 rides, he'd be getting at least 11 or 12. So yeah, all to play for still, definitely. But yeah, as I said, Limo took longer than it should have done. Unk was just a question of waiting for his work commitments to finish. I was trying to hope we could get him in for this meeting, but he was still working away. And this off week next week has fallen quite nicely. So I think we've got a home league match against Cowboys. Hopefully they should both be in for that. So that'll be a nice warm up then for the cup semi. And then just try and get some.
I've got to ask you, what's your thoughts on being stripped of the captaincy back? When was it, season 18?
What's my thoughts on? Sorry,
you were stripped. You were removed from the captaincy of the Pyment.
Oh, season 16.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I've ridden for you. I rode through the latter part of season 9. And with you last season, the whole season, and I must say it was great fun. I'll always be grateful for you to bringing me into the team in season 9 for my 3rd league title. So I think you get
a home track maestro.
I didn't ride a home meeting. I think you get a bad press from some people saying you can be difficult, but I've always found you great fun and. Not blowing smoke up your back.
I think if you're looking from the outside in certain chats, I'll always stand my ground in any debates. Do you
remember the chats we had last season in the Panthers chat with Lofty? I mean, I was creasing up laughing. I was laughing so hard sometimes.
Oh, yeah, we were winding each other.
I was just my stomach was hurting just laughing too much. It was great fun.
Yeah.
If ever you got the chance to be a skipper for a season, I think anyone who think, oh no, you definitely right, because if you don't win meetings, you're still having a laugh and you're still having fun.
Yeah,
and that's what it's all about for me.
We all have our issues. I mean, season 15 was a tough one for me because there was personal issues had just gone on. I'd just broken up, was going through a divorce, so I had to move back from Portugal to England when that took place, which is something I didn't want to do. So I was like, to be honest, everything in life I didn't care about. And I don't think we had a particularly good year. Sis came in. The start of the year as well, Sis didn't want to join Pies because he hated the track. Owen the same. But after about 3 or 4 meetings, it was his favourite track, and he was loving it by the end. So I think he got the track record now, isn't he? Like 38.0 or something.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, I think you sent me a message. You're on the media team, didn't you? And I replied back to you with a long message saying, it's a bad season, but we put it right
Yeah.
for you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then about a day after that, it came through. Oh, you're not captain anymore. So it was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, we chat quite a bit on Discord chat, and like I say, I've always found you very, very, very good fun to race with. Like you said, there's never any pressure. It's very, very rare that one of your teams is challenging at the top of the league. So there's no pressure to perform. Like you said, you were very good with me. You didn't let me ride any home meetings, which I'm grateful for, because I hate that track at V2.
Yeah, to be fair though, Shads,
Fantastic.
for about 4 or 5 years, Pies were like the dominant team on the game through seasons sort of 7 through 12.
Yeah.
We won the league 2 or 3 times. We won, when there was myself, Don's 101, Captain Pie, and all of those. They made a couple of down years. Where it really started going wrong was my server stopped working in Portugal, and I couldn't host. And there was pretty much no one else on the team who got a server, so practice just became so limited. Whereas previously, you probably remember the year we won the league, we'd be open every night until like 2 in.
Yeah.
Tim didn't show up till 10:30 at night, and every one of us was like a late night rider. So it was just momentum. You'd just be racing, winning, winning. But I think it's frustrating when you're a captain and you haven't got your servers not working, because you can't really organise as well. I think it's not working. It was working at the start of the year and it stopped working. But fortunately, this year we've got most of the riders in the team have got a working server, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I think it's important as a captain to have a server, so you can always be the one to be opening up and encouraging people to race. But yeah, it is what it is. So the big issue was not allowing V2 back in, Mr. Tank.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hotly debated one.
Even Shads misses it.
To be fair, I actually don't mind V2 myself.
If Hastings is allowed, there should be no reason.
And Exeter.
And Exeter, yeah. And Polo Mint.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's water under the bridge, so just focus on this year now. Just try not to. Well, Cowboys next. Neither of us have got a point, have we? So beat them, get some points on the board, and then see where we can go with the new boys. Might cause us some upsets along the way. But then we haven't raced Spartans at home yet. So if we beat them, that could throw the league title wide open.
And Hazard's going to turn up for his 4 points again.
Behave.
You got any questions, Haz?
No, just obviously, if with the getting the new riders in, it's been good. Obviously, I was in the team the other night, and the team spirit is good, and it's really good to see a team who's not been getting the results to, be that kind of, because I've been in previous teams where you're losing a few and you just can't be bothered and this, that, and the other. That's how people get down a little bit. But the team spirit is really good, and fair play to you for keeping that up in the team.
Yeah, it's been good. That was Fatal Error just calling. He's just agreeing, because once the averages change, we can kick Baz out, and we got enough points to bring Fatal Error in. So he doesn't know yet. So just keep that to yourselves. We'll let him know later. He'll be fine. He's a team man.
Well, we can edit that bit out if you want. Before the pod goes live.
No, it's cool. All good. Anyway, am I done? I need to get back to me baseball.
Yes, and thanks for coming on. It's been lovely to have you on.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers, Big Richard. Thanks for making it the longest all four back pod in history.
Well, you kept asking questions. The money's in the post anyway. Few nice words. See you later.
See you later.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Oh, that was
Yeah, that was good. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
And moving on to the rider of the week, I shall hand over to Shads.
Wow, rider of the week. Blimey. I'm getting fed up of saying it's a tough one every week, but it's a tough one every week. Let's start at the top. We'll start with Cam, 16 points in the SCS and winning it. GP winning it. 11+1 for the Dragons against Spartans. Stephen, of course, 14 points from his 6 rides. Struggled a little bit, but still, top scored for them. Recce, superb again. What a start for the season he's had. Really, really good. 18 points in the GP. Bewitcher, I guess, just now. Really, really, really good score in the SCS and won it. Rat, I should have won that, but never mind. Rico, he's recent good form continuing. Had a really up and down season, but with 16 points on Sunday, very good for him. And I've got to give another mention to Lofty with all these personal problems lately. Scoring 13+3, just dropping the 2 points in our meeting against the Wolves. But I'd be mad not to give it to this young fella. He's really good week, 2 meetings, 2 really good meetings. Mr. Cameron Leckie. Cam is my rider of the week. Congratulations, young man.
So on to our next part of the show, and that we also have the On This Day segment. And Chad, you've got another one for us.
Yeah, I just trawled this one out of the archives. Going back to season 10, the first meeting of the season. Season I didn't actually take part in. I was on one of my retirements this season. Some names that you probably recognise, and maybe one or two you don't recognise. Some of the newer guys, Paulie Jazz. He was around for a while. Decent rider. CJ, another one who scored good points. Dixon Racing, I don't remember. I don't think he was around when I was around. Obviously, Catesy, he's still there, knocking about, probably scoring about then as much as he does now. Super Dip at reserve. I mean, he's come on bundles since those days. Captain Pie, one of the original Pie men, actually captain the Pie men, hence the name Captain Pie. Bobby, so I didn't realise he'd ever rode for the Pie men, scoring a good score that night. But these teams didn't really do much that season. I think they finished. Dragons finished 4th, and the Pie men finished 6th, with Exeter Storm winning the league that year. Interesting to note, there were 9 teams in the league that year, with squads of 9. So we're talking at 81 active riders, which is a far cry from what we got we've got now.
And obviously they were
Yes,
captained by
good old
Bewitcher, who we just had on.
good old days.
We now look on to the fixtures coming up for next week, which there's only one meeting on next week, which is the Reserve Riders Championship, which is being held at Hyde Road, which I think the last time it was used was, I can't remember what season it was now. I think it was
Season 18.
18 by the Storm, was it? Or
Storm, yeah.
Storm.
No, Storm. We were Storm that year. Lango took over the captaincy from Ads and changed the name.
Ah, okay. Yeah. But yeah, it should be, and that'd be an interesting meeting, and that obviously track record will be up for grabs because it's set, because the fence boost has been removed, so it'll be an interesting meeting. The meeting itself, as things stand, we have pretty much everyone bar 2 riders, I think, confirmed for the meeting. How do you see this one going, Haz? Obviously, you're in.
Yeah. It's gonna be a tough one. I haven't done too many laps either at the moment. It's one you should be competing quite well in. I'd like, but I haven't actually been that much on this track since it was changed a little bit in the off season. So yeah, I mean, I think we did test it in pre-season on the track choices, but I was on holiday, so I didn't really do a lot around here. But I think the main contenders, as you can probably going to be JC, Rico. I think obviously Reese has started in good form, and obviously Shad has been in good form in the FCS, so there's no reason why you can't transform that into this one. And Le Sorcier, and even I think it's wide open. I think, to be honest, Badger as well. You can just keep reading off a few names, but yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Obviously as well, he's top two to the final automatically, which just makes it that little bit tougher. So one little off ride, and it can throw your night and carry it on into the next ride. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and we can get some points on the board and give it a good go. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one. Shads, your thoughts? And that you looking forward to
Well,
it?
back to my old season 18 stomping ground. I'm disappointed the fence boost has been removed, which I think levels the playing field up. I mean, it's wide open for me. I mean, Hads has gone through the names, the obvious names. JC will be one of the favourites, but you've got Reese, Badger, David Nofear, Le Sorcier, and yourself, Hadlington. You're all in with a shout. I'd like to think I can score a few points here, but I don't think I've got enough to win it because there's some pretty tough competitors, even though it's only a reserve riders championship. You look at the form of some of these so-called lower end riders this season, and they're beating the top guys. Everywhere, home and away. So it's going to be an entertaining meeting. I hope we can get it streamed as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be nice.
and obviously you both meet in Heat 9 along with Rico and Hobnob. That'll be an interesting race.
Yeah.
That's probably my worst nightmare of a race, to be honest. Because all those three, they're just like Vico and Hobnob especially. They just block, and obviously Shad's with his dive bombs as well. It's gonna be that's gonna be a tough race,
It's
to
a
be
good
honest.
dive bomb track, to be honest with you. You can
Yeah,
if you get it right. But it's going to be you're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot of people in the grass trying that dive bomb because it's not an easy one to know. It took me to the last minute of the season to get it right. It took me about 6, 7 meetings to get it right. So unless you've done the laps here, don't expect to do much.
yeah, that is going to be the plan for the weekend. But didn't the Spartans use this track after Storm as well?
Did they? I know it's
I
been
think
used
it was the
before.
season
I think
after, wasn't it?
Phoenix used it in
I think
season 14. Was
I
it?
think it was 19. Was it season 19?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I think you're right. I
I
think you're
think it
right.
was. But yeah, obviously it's changed since then, so it's
Yeah,
going to be
that fence boost. Don't expect to see times like you did. The last time it was used, because a lot of the faster times where you got that fence boost. Just right.
yeah.
That's when the fast times were coming in.
At least Stephen can't get the track record there.
Well, yeah, I was going to say he would, but seeing as the BLRC is going to be on a different track, this is one that he won't get, so that should be motivation for everyone, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, season 19 had Hyde Spartans, Toretto, DL Shaw,
Yeah.
Racer Ryan,
Thought it was,
Cappy,
yeah.
Ben Thompson, Rossi, and Hobnob.
Oh, Hobnob, yeah, as well. I forgot he rode
Yeah,
there.
but 3.78 home average. So Hobnob, Ben Thompson. So they'll they've had that as a home track.
And the only rider to score a max on this track, I believe, was yourself, Mr. Shad.
I believe I am. the only one in this meeting anyway.
Yeah.
Long time ago, long time ago. And I had ads with me holding my hand, so it's a lot easier. And it was against a pretty poor North team that season. It was their first season, do you remember? And I think they only won one meeting all season, and that was against a team that won the league.
So I wish it was that team, and I remembered.
That was your team, thanks.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Warriors.
I was a bit slow there.
It's been a long night.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think this will all turn out a quite a good, entertaining meeting, and I think there's loose plans to actually stream it, so we shall see if that comes to fruition over the
I
weekend.
think it's a really, really good idea to have the reserve riders different part of the season from the BLRC. Gives it more kudos, I think. It gives it more of a, big meeting feel rather than have it like, where the second choices to the BLRC. And I think it's great to have it on a different track and on a different part of the season rather than have it on the same night or in the same week,
Having it different time to the other meeting, and obviously earlier in the season, was to availability wise to make it better, and also to give the bottom end of the reserves and that really to have a night for themselves where they didn't have to compete in both meetings and obviously be overshadowed as well. So yeah, it'll be a good night. We'll see the outcome of that one on next week's show. I think that's all for tonight. All that's obviously left to say is obviously what's coming up on next week's episode, which is obviously the Reserve Riders Championship review. We will have the BGP round 3 draw, as well as the SCS round 3 wildcard and the draw. And then we take a quick look at the previews for Wolves versus Cowboys, Spartans versus Panthers, and Dragons versus Storm. And that should be an interesting look back and forward at what's coming up. Of course, if you've enjoyed everything you heard during that tonight and past episodes and want to get involved, you can do so by looking at our social media links like the website, the forum, Discord, YouTube, where regular YouTube highlights of meetings and obviously this All Four Back podcasts are put, Facebook for the live streams, and also on Twitter, which is getting more use now. And with that being said, it's time to close out the show, and it's a good night from Hads.
Good night, all.
And it's a good night from Shads.
Good night, everyone.
And it's a good night from me, Tank. And we shall see you next week for another episode 83 of the All Four Back podcast. Until then, good night.